Tully, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I found it eventually.
Yeah.
I got here eventually.
On time
Always on
and
time.
always on time. Love that for you. How are you feeling?
I feel great. I
Yes.
feel really good. I almost feel guilty saying this because I get a lot of interesting responses, but I've had a dream pregnancy and I feel very, very lucky. It's just sometimes I don't even think I am pregnant. If I didn't have this little belly and these ginormous boobs, some days I would be questioning it. But I'm feeling really good. I'm just enjoying every moment.
No, I love that. So for those listening, I have Tully Smyth here with me today. She's a very much loved voice in the social media space. She first graced our screens in the Big Brother house in 2010 and since then has built a career as a writer and online creator. And over the years, Tully has shared her life so honestly to a large community online and been so open about, love and heartbreak and the devastating loss of your beautiful mother and also her journey through egg freezing. I actually read a few of your articles in preparation to this, and you are such a beautiful writer. And I picked something that I felt would really kind of define this conversation. So I'd like to read it. It's something you wrote in January in Elle, and you said, if you're single in your 30s, if you're freezing your eggs, if you're going through IVF or struggling with infertility, if you're watching everyone else tick off milestones while you tread water, I want you to know this. Your life isn't behind. It's just different. Waiting isn't wasted time, and protecting your future isn't giving up on love. I waited so long. I waited through heartbreak, hormones, grief, and long stretches of not knowing. I waited for the right partner. I waited to become a version of myself steady enough to hold this. If you're still wishing, still waiting, still quietly hoping, please know this. Your story is not stuck. It is still moving. Sometimes everything really does fall into place, just not always on the timeline you imagined. I literally get chills as I said it because when I read it first, I literally started crying
Oh,
because it's so.
I've never had anybody quote my own words back to me. I feel kind of like a big deal.
Like that, like you write so beautifully, and I want to start there because obviously you have had quite the journey in becoming pregnant and where you are today. So I want to know what was it like to be in your 30s? There's obviously this society pressure, the body clock's ticking and all that good stuff, and watching everyone else tick off their milestones. What was that like for you?
Hell.
Yeah.
It was hell. It was so lonely and isolating and devastating. And I think it's funny because even listening to you read that out, I read stuff like that and I heard stuff like that and I had Pinterest quotes saved like that. And I wanted to punch every single person that said that to me in the face. Like, that's just not what you want to hear when you're in the trenches, when you're feeling really alone and isolated. It's only because I feel like I'm out the other side with hindsight that I can look back at my fellow single 30-something-year-old women and be like, seriously, though, it's true. Like, just wait up. Like, all the cliches, there is a reason that they're so common. There's a reason that people say them all the time. It is true. You just have to, it takes a while to get there. But I remember spending whole summers on my couch by myself, and I'd try and catch up with girlfriends and they were like, oh, we're down the beach, with Johnny's family, or, oh, we've got little Susie's second birthday, or worse, you'd see all of them, at the local park having a picnic that you weren't invited to because you don't have kids. And it hurt. I think one summer and I'm not being dramatic, I think I was reading a book a day. Yes, granted, they were Colleen Hoover books, which she's the worst writer in the world, but they're easy reads.
Yeah.
But I was on my couch just reading books. It was really lonely, and I think it's doubly hard when it's something you want so badly. This wasn't just me feeling behind because people were moving forward and I felt like I wasn't. This is because I have always wanted to get married. I've always wanted to be a mum. And so seeing these people around you, as happy as you are for them and as excited and pumped, seeing these people around you get the very thing you want the most, it's a bitter pill to swallow. And it can make you feel like a horrible friend, a horrible person. You really have to realize, and it took me a while to get there, that you can feel both grief for yourself and happiness for somebody else. The two feelings can coexist. It is confusing when your best friend tells you that she's pregnant and you kind of want to slap her across the face or burst into tears for yourself. You can feel really selfish, and it can be a really fun game of compartmentalizing your feelings. You sort of take it in for a sec. You go, oh, that stings. I'm going to put that right up there until later on tonight when I'm alone. And right now I'm just going to whack on her face and be like, that's amazing. Oh my God. So yeah, it was really hard. And there were many nights where I end up in tears, and there were nights where, I'd be out, and I remember hens parties. There was a while there where every hens party I went to, I ended up in the corner in tears, just crying about where I'm at and how I don't have everything that I ever wanted. It was a long slog.
How long have you and your partner, so obviously, how long have you been together for now?
So we met 18 days shy of my 36th birthday. So it's been just over 2 years, 2.5 years, 18 months.
And did you plan to conceive?
Yes, we were planning to conceive, yes. We thought, to be honest, we had started to try, and then I decided to do The Traitors, the new season of The Traitors, which is due out this year. And when I decided to do that, I was like, oh, we probably should stop trying, because I don't think it's a smart idea to be pregnant whilst playing a game like The Traitors. I didn't know whether I'd be having to, throw myself into, lakes or there's challenges involved, physical challenges. I'm not even sure the producers would have let me if I was pregnant. So we were trying. I then said, wait, stop trying. Filmed the show, and when I got back from filming, sort of picked up where we left off. And we're very, very lucky, extremely lucky to conceive naturally, because I do have eggs sitting in a freezer somewhere, which I think it took the pressure off.
Yeah.
I think it did play a part in us conceiving naturally. It certainly played a part in me meeting Ned. I think I've always said to anyone that will listen to me, my hairdresser, Uber drivers, girls at the Mecca counter who will listen. When we talk about egg freezing, I think freezing my eggs at 35 twice after a pretty big breakup, that completely shifted my mindset when it came to dating.
Yes, the pressure was off.
No wonder I was single for 10 years, because in hindsight, the desperation was leaking out of me. Like I was so desperate to find that person, and I was being very open and honest about that. And I think the minute I froze my eggs, I just felt this invisible elephant sort of step off my chest.
Yes.
And I felt secure. I felt like I had a backup plan, a safety net. And so I think I was more open to dating and to seeing where things went and not putting so much pressure on it. And I think that's why I gave Ned a chance, because, he's 4 years younger than me. And I'd just been with someone a few years younger than me who definitely wasn't ready for what I wanted. We weren't on the same timeline.
Yep.
And that's eventually the main reason why we split, apart from the fact that he took a job in Denver and left me for dead. But we're good. We're friends. Yeah. But I think I saw his age, on his Hinge profile, and I thought, oh, there's no way he's going to be ready. And I'm at a time. I'm not going to waste any more years. Yeah. But I think I gave him a shot because I felt, you know what? I got those eggs on ice. Yeah. He seems nice. The chat was good. Yeah. He had big baby blues and a golden retriever. So what's a girl to do? But I don't think I would have been so open to even giving him a shot if I didn't feel that sense of security from having my eggs on ice.
Yes, I've heard that a bit. We actually had Olivia Molly Rogers on the show, and she said she's the best, had a very similar experience. As soon as she put her eggs on ice, she just felt that weight lift and that expectation around finding the one lift right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to know, talk to me about the day you found out you were pregnant.
Oh my gosh. I think being older, I'm 38, 39 this year, I'd been told by all my girlfriends, I'd been harassed by my girlfriends for years to start trying. The minute I met Ned and everyone could see that he was it and I was besotted, girlfriends were like, if you want a baby in a year, you got to start trying now. It could take you up to a year. A lot of them had multiple miscarriages or it had taken them a long time, IVF experiences, and they were like, you want a kid next year? Start trying now. So we were really feeling the pressure. I was like, oh God, like really? Like, is that what's going to happen? Is that how long it's going to take? Yeah. So we were prepared for us to have to wait a little bit. Yeah. And I really didn't want to get my hopes up. I think I had really started to make peace with the fact that it might have happened for me at all. And even the fact that we were suddenly trying to get pregnant was wild to me. I was like, is this really happening? Are we really doing this? Do you really want to have a baby with me? Like, really? You're so great. Are you sure? Because once we do this, we can't undo it. Like, you haven't given me a ring yet, sir, but you want to have a baby with me? I mean, I'm down. But the day I found I was pregnant, so my period was late. But since freezing my eggs, it had been a little bit skew-iff. And my period was late and I was experiencing cramping. But I thought, my period's coming. That makes sense. Yeah. I actually had my 20-year high school reunion that weekend. And I was feeling crampy on the way to the airport. It was up in Sydney. And I thought, oh, great, here we go. Well, and I remember telling them, because they were all waiting for me to have a big bomb, a big announcement to drop. They've all got, nearly all of them have kids. Okay. And I think they all thought, once we got there in person, I'd be like, P.S. So I actually was so anxious and so upset about the fact that I probably wasn't, because I thought my period was coming. I actually texted the group chat. I wanted to alleviate the pressure and the anticipation for myself, really. And I said, guys, I know a lot of you are probably expecting me to drop some news this weekend. Yeah. I'm not doing that. I'm not pregnant. Want to tell you now. Don't want to end up in tears about it. We are trying, but I'm not pregnant. I can feel my period coming. I then proceeded to have a very fun weekend with all my besties. And we were I was on the way back to Melbourne at the airport and my period tracker app said, if your period still hasn't come in 2 days, take a test. And it was only then, because I'd been so distracted, having fun, catching up. I made a trivia game. We did like trivia, high school trivia. Yep. We just had such a fun weekend listening to like Craig David and Usher and all the normal things you do at a high school reunion. I just had so much fun that I'd kind of forgotten that my period still hadn't come. And so that came through and I went, oh my God, no, there's no way. And my girlfriend was sitting next to me and her partner's a doctor. And I showed her that and I was like, oh, don't worry, it's clump cells, you're all good. I was like, there's no way I'm pregnant. There's just no way. Yes. And I was still trying to mitigate that disappointment. I've always believed, hope for the best but expect the worst. That's kind of my mentality. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. And I have gone through so much in my life that sometimes it's best just to prepare for the worst. Good things don't always happen to me. In fact, often it's the bad things that happen to me. So I was definitely not getting my hopes up. Ned was like, let's just go take a test. Let's just buy a test. And I'm like, no, stop asking me. Yep. Because I thought it was going to be negative and I didn't want the disappointment. I was like, no, if my period still isn't here and I kept putting this timer on it. If it's not here by tomorrow, then we'll get a test. Anyway, he went out for some drinks. It was Melbourne Cup. And I don't know why, the minute he left, I ordered a test via Uber Eats along with some ice cream, I think, and all the important essentials. I don't know why. I think I thought it was going to be negative and I wanted the disappointment. I wanted some time solo to deal with that. Before I made it flippant and was like, oh, it's negative. Of course it was. I think if I was going to be devastated, I don't know. I wanted to be devastated alone. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. Yeah.
Anyway, I did the test, set my phone up because of course I did. I'm a content creator. And also on the off chance that I wasn't going to miss that moment. Yeah. And it was. And I was like, I beg your finest pardon? Excuse me? And I was actually then immediately surprised by my reaction. This is something I've wanted my whole life. And I wasn't jumping up and down and screaming and high-fiving myself. I was terrified. I was like, what? No, this is supposed to take a year. We're supposed to be in Greece 9 months from now. I'm like, wait, hang on. What do you mean? And then I immediately was like, damn it, I wish I hadn't done it alone. I wish Ned had been here. And then I thought, am I a good enough actress to pretend I didn't do this and redo this test later on? Can I fake this in a couple of hours? And I thought, do I call him? No, I don't call him. What am I going to do? I was like, what am I going to do? But he was due to go to Sydney for a dentistry course that he had to be at. And I didn't want him to feel like he couldn't go. Okay. So I made a split-second decision to sit on it myself again. And I thought, okay, you ruined your own moment by being impatient and doing a test on your own. But now you have a chance to make it a beautiful moment for Ned. So I took those couple of days that he was up in Sydney for his course to do something cutesy so that he had the moment that I wish I'd had but ruined for myself.
What was that? What did you do?
He's a massive Blues supporter.
Okay.
Die-hard Blues supporter. So I was like, I only had it was like 2 days.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't get something delivered from overseas. You know, there are so many cute ways you can tell your partner. I was like, do I put some dough in the oven and say, hey, honey, check on dinner? Like I was like, you know, all the cliches you see on
Yes,
TikTok.
yeah.
I mean, I've waited my whole life for this. So I've seen a lot of reveals. I've seen a lot of sweet videos. And I had some ideas, but I only had 2 days to make it happen. Anyway, I ordered some tiny little baby Blues onesies from the Carlton AFL footy shop.
Yeah.
And then I also created, he's mad on Wordle. He does the New York Times games so often that he's gone back in the archives and is now doing like June 2022 Wordles because he's out of Wordles to do. So I actually created my own Wordle where the answer was daddy and got it printed into a card. And then he didn't get back till late, like Friday night. And I was like, no, it's late. The lighting won't be good for this video. I literally thought that. I was like, damn it. No, I can't film it now. I don't want to have a ring light. Also, if I set a ring light up, he's going to be like, what are you doing? So I still had to sleep on it with him next to me and wait till the first thing the next morning. So, but yeah, it was great. I needed him. He's always been such a calm presence and I was terrified still. And I needed him to say that he was excited and that he wanted this and that, you know, it was a good thing.
Yes.
I really needed him to be like, this is amazing. We're going to be fine. And the minute he said that, I relaxed and it stopped being terrifying. It started being really bloody exciting.
Did he cry? Did he?
He did
what
cry.
Was it? Yeah.
He's
wow.
such a softie. He cries at every ultrasound. He films the whole appointment. I've got like a 50-minute video on my phone now. And then he'll go home and he'll watch it over and over again. And he'll get teary every time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's
he's a big
so
softie.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You lost your mum tragically, you know, a few years ago. Did you feel that the grief was different being pregnant now?
Yeah, for sure. I just looking around, there's no tissues. No, it's okay. The minute you said that, I was like, uh-oh.
Sorry, I just
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I've always said that you'd think because we lost my mum in so many ways, so many years ago. She was diagnosed with younger onset dementia when I was only 15 years old. The decline was swift. And then because she was so young and physically fit, not sadly, but she was trapped in this sort of purgatory for far too long. She only passed away in 2019. So she spent most of my adult life, you know, somewhere between life and death, really. And it was really, really tough. But when she did finally pass away, there was this element of relief for her. Freedom. You're no longer stuck here. It's no way to live a life. So I think there was sort of, when she passed away, initially I was like, oh, thank God. You know, she's free, thank God. And there wasn't those moments that I see so many of my friends go through where I still go to call her and I miss asking her for advice because I hadn't been able to call her for 15 years, you know. So that wasn't that sort of adjustment period of me realizing she was gone. She'd been gone for a long time. But over the years, there's been these pivotal moments where the grief kind of hits you like a tidal wave all over again and knocks you over because you think, hang on, I thought I dealt with this a long time ago. And I knew that falling pregnant would be especially tough. I knew that I would feel her absence. I knew that I would wish I could speak to her, ask her advice, go to her, share this with her. And it's all sort of bubbled back up to the surface. I actually recently, the other weekend, went through my old storage unit and found all these clothes that I'd kept of mum's. And she'd also, unbeknownst to me, kept all these beautiful little baby clothes of mine that I've gone through and I've picked pieces out and I've had them dry cleaned. And there's been a few of her maternity dresses that I remember so clearly in my brain because I'm the eldest and I have two younger brothers. These dresses just are so burnt in my mind and I've fished them out and I've washed them about 4 times. They still stink of mothballs, but I've been wearing them because it's kind of a way that I can feel close to her. You know, I have these visions in my head of her pregnant with my brothers and now I'm pregnant wearing the same dress and we look, I don't know if you've seen a photo of my mum, we are the spitting image. It's creepy.
Wow.
So, I actually sent Dad a photo of me in one of her dresses and he said, "Oh, I thought that was your mum."
Wow.
Yeah, but the grief has been immense. Even stuff like I'm so lucky to have Ned's family. Ned's mum is amazing. Weirdly, the same name as my own mum.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Ned's family is amazing, but just, she's not my mum.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've had so many beautiful women step in and help fill those shoes over the years. But I think now that I'm becoming a mother, and I've heard this from other people, it really does make you think about your own and reflect on your own relationship and how much your mum would have loved you and how much you would have, wished to be around. So it's just yet another chapter of the grief hitting you in a different but equally painful way.
Have you thought about the way in which she parented you and things that you would like to do for your little one?
Yeah, absolutely. It's sad because, I was so young when she got sick. And so a lot of my memories are childhood memories and they're fuzzy. And I'm so grateful. Dad, similar to me, loved to record everything. And we have all these beautiful home videos, which they're such precious memories to me now. And I feel like I've learned a lot about her through watching those videos. But I remember really clearly, she cared more about our personalities and our sense of humor and our character than she did about, what we achieved at school. Or she was really, really strong on us having a cultural upbringing. She would take us to musicals and plays, which I still love to this day. She really encouraged my love of reading, and I swear that's why I ended up being a writer. I used to love reading and she loved reading, and I would sit next to her in bed while she read and I'd read my little books. But she was just larger than life, big character, big personality. Apparently I'm a lot like her as I get older, which I think is a compliment. But just to make my kids feel loved, I never felt like I was lacking love or support. I never felt pressured to study something or follow any certain career path. Just to make sure that my children feel as loved as she made us feel in the short years that we had her.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And I mean, I'd love to know what advice perhaps you would give to those who are, there's so many ways we can go with it. Like, I'd love to know, let's go all the way back to where we started this conversation. To those people who feel like their life hasn't been linear in achieving the milestones that they'd hoped by a certain point, and for those who feel like they might be achieving a milestone alongside, missing and mourning the grief of someone that they love truly, just generally from your entire story, what advice would you give those who feel a little bit stuck in where they're at today?
The first thing I always say to people that message me is never, ever settle. I could have settled so many times. I think I knew what I deserved and I knew what I wanted and I held out. And it meant holding out till I was 36. But I'm so grateful that I did, because look at the life that I have now. Look at the man that I have now. Look at the partner I have now. And I think about had I ended up marrying or having kids with anyone else, and it would have been an absolute disaster. It sounds, again, and I heard them all myself, and so I hate when I start regurgitating them, but it will all make sense one day. You just have to be patient and have grace, and that it will all make sense. You have to kind of just hold on tight and have patience and faith in yourself and your decisions. And I think as well, don't just kind of waste the time that you are on your own. I spent those 10 plus years when I was single doing the work. Like, I'm talking psychologist, psychiatrist, kinesiologist, Reiki, acupuncture. I got myself in the best possible place so that when I did meet Ned, I was ready for Ned. Had I met Ned even 2 years prior, I would have stuffed it up. I would have self-sabotaged. I would have gone, "Oh, you're a bit too nice. You're a bit too kind." Like, "Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, you're not emotionally manipulating me? Yuck." Like, you call me when you say you're going to call me. That's so weird. You like me? Ew. I just would have. I would have rebelled it. I would have pushed it away. So spend the time. Like, it's not wasted time. Become the best version of yourself. Do what makes you happy. Have the really cute single gal apartment with all white furniture and like expensive coffee table books, and light those expensive candles from Mecca. Light them. Because trust me, once you do find love of your life and you have to move in together, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, okay? I was up at 3:30 a.m. the other morning because he was snoring. I've got stinky shoes. I've got little beard clippings, that's like stuck to my face cream somehow. I'm pulling long golden retriever dog hairs out from my underwear. I don't know how it gets in there. Just make the most, travel, make friends,
And I'd love to round out the way you've kept your mum's memory alive. Any sort of suggestions or advice for those who are trying to also, light a candle for those that are special that are not with us today?
I just think about what mum would have loved to see me do. And I think, being a Dementia Australia ambassador, I definitely know that's one way she would have been proud of me. I'm also working on a book, and I think, imagine my mum being able to read a book that I wrote. It's not always about, I've always fought hard against like the sort of dark, going to a graveside, or I do fun things that she enjoyed. I spend Mother's Day eating expensive oysters and champagne. I honor her in ways in which, I think about what she would enjoy doing on those days. And I keep it light and bright and just try and live life to the fullest because she didn't, get to. So I think, what would she want to do on Mother's Day? She'd want to have expensive champagne. So I'm going to have expensive champagne. There are so many ways you can honor your loved one. There are so many ways you can do it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Tully, thank you so much for taking the time, and good luck for the rest of the pregnancy. We'll have to get you back on when you've got the little bubs in tow.
Yeah, I would love that. And I know where the building is this time, so I won't get lost.
Thanks, girl.
Thanks so much.